Hi.
Sorry, I was letting my husband know that I'm going to be on a Zoom call for a while.
No worries. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing okay too. A bit stressed though, but
Oh, yeah?
yeah, a bit.
Yeah, well, always stressed.
Are you ready for school tomorrow?
School? We
Yeah.
started school 2 weeks ago.
Oh, it's pretty soon in USA. Here it's
Yeah, Arizona started like a month ago. They started August 8th. And then here in California, we started 2 weeks ago. We started on the 18th?
Oh my God.
I know.
But do you have the same holiday as us? You know,
Mm-hmm.
July and August?
Yeah. We ended in June,
Oh,
like
okay.
middle of June. It felt like it just flew by. It felt like we didn't get enough vacation time. I was like, school is starting so quick. I'm not ready for that.
Are you a bit stressed with this whole COVID situation for your kids to go back to school?
I was at first because they don't really go back to school. So we were like, okay, well, I'm going to be homeschooling my kids. And, we experienced that towards the end of last semester. And it was just a mind fuck. It was a lot, like getting them home. And then we're starting full-time school Monday through Friday for a couple hours. And especially, I have a kindergartner, so getting them to sit on Zoom for
So,
5 hours.
so you received online lessons from their teachers?
Yeah, and so they would
Okay.
set up, we have Google Classroom, but this year, we're in first grade. We have an awesome teacher. He is going to like a tutor studio 3 days a week in the morning, and they like put them in their own rooms. They wear
Yeah.
masks. So he gets help a couple days a week. So oh God, it just feels so good to have help with school.
I have that. And you're also going back to school soon. I think you have a new project coming soon called E-Dance Convention. What is it exactly, and what's your role in it?
So He Dance Convention is just a new dance convention platform. And I will be a faculty teacher. I'll be teaching jazz funk.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited. It's my first dance convention. So we'll be traveling across the US, and whatever it looks like for the state mandate, we'll try our best to, teach the kids as best as we can. And whether it looks like a big group setting or it's just in studios with smaller groups, adhering to social guidelines, we're just really excited to get to hang out with the kids and teach. It's a new convention, so we're like, what can we do? What are we able to do? But it's my first convention, so I'm so excited.
What was it, your idea, or they contacted you to do this?
I didn't understand you. What'd you say?
Was it your idea, this whole convention, or did they?
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I was just reached out to and, asked if I wanted to join. So I'm not putting it on. It's a group of us doing it together.
Okay, and when will it start?
We start in November, I think. Ooh.
So in 2 months.
2 months. Let's see. My first date, is November 8th. We'll be starting in Florida. We do Phoenix, Long Branch, San Jose, Denver, Chicago. Yeah.
Will there be online lessons for people who can attend?
I believe that they're going to try and add an online component to it.
Could be cool. So you're an amazing dancer and an artist in general. I called you a Swiss Army knife because you're a dancer, you're a singer, you're an actress, and you're a mom, and I'm sure many more.
A Swiss Army knife, I love it.
So when I was preparing this interview, I've watched all your Dancing with the Stars video, your IG videos, and I was wondering, when you are dancing, are you always, following a choreography, or sometimes you're just listening to a song and let your body express itself?
Most of the time I'm following choreography if I'm dancing. There's been some times where I really like to improv, and it was a big part of my pastime as a dancer. you know, just to improv, especially for like lyrical and contemporary. It feels really good to just let your body go. But it's hard now that I'm older. I don't dance as much, so I don't feel as confident doing improv. So to help myself feel more confident, most of the time I choreograph something, even if it's just a few bits and pieces here, so I know, same as an actor, like to hit these notes at this part of the music. And then in between I can improv, or whether I choreograph like 2/8 and then the rest I improv. I mean, just to move your body, it feels so good. So
Yeah, sure.
however that looks, I mean,
Yeah.
trial and error, I guess.
You know, I'm not a dancer at all, but I'm looking to take some lessons because 3 weeks ago I was feeling very, you know, kind of heavy. And so I was in my living room and I put some music on, and I don't know why I started to not dance, but just move my
Oh,
body.
feels so good.
And yeah, I probably looked ridiculous, but at the end, I felt so good, like if it was, like if dancing has therapeutic virtues, you know. So yeah, now
Yeah.
I'm starting to take some lessons, but not to be a dancer, just to let the stress, anxiety go away.
Yeah. Yeah, you see like a lot of like therapists and people who deal with anxiety, um they recommend us to like dance or shake your body. Like a lot of
Yeah,
times the therapist will tell you to release trauma, you should shake your body. So no wonder dancing feels so good. I mean, you're moving every limb
yeah.
and you're letting all this trauma or, you know, all this anxiety go. So at the end, you just feel so rejuvenated and good.
Are you doing some? Are you trying to share your passion with your family, and you know, doing some dance sometimes, just to sorry, just to ah, sorry, I lost it. So are you trying sometimes to share your passion with your kids? So are you dancing with
Yeah.
them? Yeah.
Yeah. We actually have like weekly dance parties in our house and they don't like to be videotaped. Well, my youngest does. My oldest is like super shy with the camera, so he doesn't love it when I try and videotape their like dance parties, but we turn on tunes and we dance around the house and it's just so fun. It's keeps the time, like keeps us busy, keeps the
Yeah.
time passing. My youngest is like really agile and like really he like bounces around the house. We call him just like our springboard. He literally bounces from like place to place. So I just kind of watch him and it's his natural ability to move, and he'll say stuff like, "Mom, watch me do this ballet move." He has no idea what ballet really is. He'll do like a pirouette. And so I think it just comes out of him naturally, maybe from seeing me do some dance stuff. You know, I teach in the house sometimes, and yeah, just kind of picking up on that.
Yeah. So how old were you when you first started to dance?
I was 1 year old when I started dancing.
1 year old.
1 year old. Yeah, I started walking at 7 months, and my sisters were both
Pretty
dancing by then.
soon.
So my mom was like, let's just throw her in dance. If she really wants to be dancing, let's do it. So I was like the 1 year old in the toddler class.
That's
Oh man.
amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, my body definitely doesn't love that I've been dancing for so long. It's like, okay, it's time to relax. Let's stop dancing.
yeah, it was your path since the very beginning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've been doing it ever since.
you are best known by the audience and your fans for your role as Britney Spears, not to be mistaken for Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
Let's talk about the beginning of the journey. I think it started differently for you because you didn't have to do an audition, right?
Yeah, right. I was assisting Zach Woodley, the choreographer at the time. I was
Yeah.
helping out Corey with some of his like solo performances for the pilot. And I was assisting him, and then they were casting for the rest of the season once it got picked up. And so I went in to teach the rest of the cast for the single ladies when we did that in the episode of Kurt and his storyline. So I was teaching them single ladies, and you know, they wanted to hire some dancers for the show because everybody was primarily a singer or an actor. And if it was a Glee club, you know, there need to be some dancers sprinkled in. And so Zach, I think he kind of pitched me to Ryan and was like, hey, watch her. I'll videotape her. You can come in and watch our rehearsals, keep an eye on her. If you're interested, you know, we can just hire her. And so that's exactly what happened. I taught the Single Ladies Dance, and Ryan came in to watch it. So stressful to be in a room with him. Obviously, it was like, you know, gonna pee my pants. And he had scheduled me to come in and read. I was gonna read Quinn's lines.
Yeah.
And I went into the office to read twice and got rescheduled twice after I had performed Single Ladies, and both times got canceled. And then I got a call from my agent that I got this job as this role. It wasn't like a big role. I wasn't speaking, but I was going to be playing like a Cheerio. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened, the whirlwind.
Yeah, but were you even thinking about to start a career as an actress?
Yeah, so about a year prior to that, I had decided, because the whole idea of being a dancer was never my thing. I was never planning to move to LA to be a dancer.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I had come to LA, I had started this career, but I was never convinced myself. I was just like, I don't know if this is it. Okay, well, I'm here in LA, and I secretly have always wanted to become an actress. Why don't I just start doing that while I'm here too? And so I emailed my dance agents, and I was like, hey, just a heads up, like, I'm not going to really be taking dance jobs. I really want to focus on taking class and becoming an actress. And which was crazy at the time, because I was working. I was like consistently working as a dancer. I was with Beyonce. I was doing all this stuff. So, I mean, even thinking back on it now, I'm like, what were you doing? Like you were set as a dancer, but you know, I was just like blindly optimistic at being this actress. And so I took classes,
and you got pretty lucky, because Glee was your first job, right?
Glee was my first acting job.
And it was a big one. Did you have a moment of doubt, hesitation before saying yes to play Britney? Because, you know, you weren't initially an actress, and the pressure was maybe too big because it was a big show, a big channel. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, the pressure wasn't so big because the role was a non-speaking role. I was basically just like a glorified background artist, you know. So it was really my opportunity to watch all the actors work, and in hopes that I could start getting lines. I had a few, and those lines, I mean, I tell you, the pressure that I felt being on set, like my heart was palpitating. I blacked out most of the time on my first couple lines. So there was no idea behind what Britney was yet. I had formulated and like proposed who Britney was over the next couple months when Ryan would come in. I had like just come up with this idea that she was not so smart person, and that everything was just kind of blank and not there. It was really based on Karen. I think her name's Karen from Mean Girls. I was like, that character is iconic. I want to be that. She's hysterical. So yeah, I guess to go back to your question, like I wasn't even thinking about this big, huge role. I mean, yeah, to me it was huge. I was like, oh my God, I just got this awesome job. But I call it blind optimism because I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this. Like, you know, I didn't think twice about everything like I do now. I was just like, we're doing this, we're gonna figure it out. And, you know, everything kind of came later with how big the show really got.
Okay, so you said that at first she wasn't that smart, and you know what I love about your character is that she actually broke a whole cliche. You know, in Belgium, I don't know if it's the same in USA, but in Belgium, people often refer to someone as being blonde because she or he does something stupid, which is ridiculous. Anyways, at first, Britney seems to follow this path, but then she appears to be a genius. So she literally broke this whole cliche. And was it on purpose to do this storyline for her, or the writers didn't even know she was going to do that? They were going to do that.
She was secretly a genius?
Yeah, was it on purpose to do this storyline to make her not smart, but then a genius? Or it comes up after, it came up after?
Yeah, I think because Britney was never originated any certain way, it was like kind of created by both me and like Ian Brennan and Ryan Murphy. It was just like imagined and like, I don't know, there was no plan for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think because like I just had such small lines in the beginning that once fans really clung to Britney and then the relationship with Santana formulated, they were like, okay, well, now what? Now what are we going to do with her? And there was so much to give for the Daft storylines. But then I think like once you dive deeper into that, it's like, well, where do we go from here? She can't just be Daft the whole time. Like we have to come up with some new innovative ways to get her, maybe overcome her disability or whatever that looks like to the audience. Because, you know, the show is really about like overcoming things in your life. And
Yeah.
so I think for them, it showed itself, it presented itself as she was just a genius, but misunderstood.
But, you know, I bet some teenagers felt very good about themselves when they saw how Britney turns out. Because, you know, some of them are feeling very discouraged when they see that their grades are not as good as the others.
Yeah.
When they failed, because high school is a pretty hard period. So
Intense place.
yeah, so the show is a good reference for many teenagers. We need to feel represented. We need to feel that they're not alone. It shows many problems that teenagers are going through. So you
I
have
even see it in my son. I see it with my 6-year-old. He's so hard on himself.
yeah,
Like when we're doing anything, he's like, I'm gonna get it wrong. I'm gonna get it wrong. So he won't answer. And
yeah,
I'm
there's a big pressure.
yeah, I'm like, if you fail, that's how you learn. Like that's what we're doing here is
Exactly,
if we don't fail, we won't learn the right answer.
exactly.
So kids probably just feel so much pressure.
Yeah, it's horrible. I remember myself in high school, just a big pressure to do the right thing, and no, I ended up having a hard time finding my path. You know, I tried communication,
Mm-hmm.
and then the year after I tried to study for being a primary teacher at school, but then I
Oh,
didn't like it. So after that, I'm trying right now journalism, and I think it's the right path now. But yeah, it's really, really hard.
I think I would have probably been in your same boat if I had continued on college. You know, like you start general major and then you're like, okay, well, now what? I don't quite know what I want to do. So you like
Exactly.
explore all these random classes. And then I think, you know, you kind of find out like what really hits home for you once you get a little bit older and your brain fully forms and you're like, you start to figure out who you are and what your voice means.
Yeah, and the show talked about these problems. Do you think you'd suggest to your niece, your kids to just watch the show one day, or is it too weird for you?
No, I would love for them to. The show's way too advanced for my 6 and 4-year-old. I have showed them the dinosaur performance that I did for Promosaurus because they obviously can't watch the storylines. It's just way too advanced.
Yeah.
But they have seen my dance performances. My son knows I'm like semi-famous, and they just really get a kick out of like seeing me perform. My niece is 13 now and 10. They've watched it. They've seen the show. But again, it's like, you know, it gets into some hard topics to talk about. And so whether you are comfortable as a parent, you know,
Yeah.
how fast do you want to let them see stuff like that? I'll wait until they're a little older, I think. But, you know, I can't keep them away from it forever.
Yeah, wait before showing them the, you know, like a virgin performance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait for them.
Yeah.
And so how did they react to know that you are famous? I always wondered that when a parent,
You know
when a,
what? It's like, it's not that weird because they watch YouTube all the time and they see all these people with like followers and subscribers. And so to them, they're famous. And I don't know. I don't think it's that weird for him. It's actually kind of cool in a way because we get invited to do like Monster Jam and we get to like go to stuff, but I'm not necessarily being like followed around. You know, I'm not like so famous that it's weird and people are crazy. It's just like, well, we get to do some cool stuff and we get some free stuff once in a while. So for them, I mean, I don't know, they're so young. My 4-year-old doesn't understand it all, but my 6-year-old is like, even me, like they're obsessed with like Steven Scher or Steve Scher, some YouTuber.
yeah,
I don't know. I'm like, I'll message them on Instagram. And my son's like, oh, no. I'm like, yes, I'm getting mom points for that.
but you know, were you afraid at first to have a family because the paparazzi and all that stuff?
No, I mean, no, I really made a choice at that point. I was not comfortable with being really famous. When it happened in season 2 and we all just became like instant famous
Yeah.
and people were like coming up to you at lunchtime, the whole lunchtime, and I couldn't get like time to myself, I'm like, this isn't it. Like, I'm not down to not enjoy one-on-one time. You know, my love language is quality time. So anytime quality time is interrupted, I'm like way off. I'm pissed. So yeah, the whole like celebrity, like being famous was just not it for me. So I really like, I don't know, I involuntarily removed myself from that equation. So before my kids were born, that wasn't a part of our lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I never had to deal with that. I've had some people come up and ask for pictures, but that's like, if you're really a fan, you know, people will be like, oh my God.
And
So
how did you manage to, you know, stay yourself and, you know, not act like a bad person because you're famous? You know what I mean?
yeah, I do know what you mean. I think we have some great examples, honestly, of people that are in the spotlight that really do a good job of sharing exactly who they are. So those are the people that I gravitate towards because I really see them being genuine in themselves. And I see how good it makes fans and other people feel. And I want everybody to feel included. And I myself am like that. I'm an empath, so I just want people to feel good. I have gone to a place where I didn't feel like myself and I was being like famous. You know, I was like fulfilling the shoes of what a famous person does based on what I see in magazines. And I tried it. It felt really wrong. And so I stopped. Like I just hated it. So then I just learned to be myself and slowly but surely just was like, you know, if fame's not important to me, like just be yourself and people will gravitate towards that.
Sure. And you can be famous one day, but you know, we don't know what could happen
Yeah.
in a month. So yeah,
Life changes so quickly.
sure. So
People can cancel
thanks.
you so quickly too.
Sorry?
I said people can cancel you so quickly too.
Yeah. So, Heather, thanks to Brittany, you kind of an icon and a role model for young LGBTQ plus and even older. For 6 years, you've shown us a beautiful relationship with Nea as Santana, and today, after so many years, it still has a huge impact, and I really think it would last forever. So, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the fact you're part of many lesbian, gays self-acceptance journey, coming out journey?
I think it's just so magical and special for what the show did for so many people to make them feel like they could really be themselves and just allow the rest of the world to come to them with their acceptance once they accepted themselves. I really love seeing that because I grew up in the arts, and so I was surrounded by people who didn't feel comfortable being themselves.
Yeah.
And just watching people struggle with that and feeling like they have to hide who they are for so long, and you watching it, it's just, it's like, it's just a beautiful equation just coming together. And I really felt blessed to be a part of that, and just hear all the stories. I still hear about it. People just coming into the
Yeah.
show and just watching it. It's like, I love it. I am so proud of these people. And I get it from parents. Like, parents message me and they're like, thank you so much for your storyline. It helped my child. Tell me who they are. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah, you're receiving that every day, and I received some uh, message like that because people knew that I was doing an interview with you, and I'm thinking about a young lady who reached out to me, and it really moved me because it put me back at her place when I fell alone and didn't like myself for being gay, and it was important for her, for me to ask you if you have any advice of how to come out to the people she loves, and just how to be brave.
well, I think it's kind of an all-encompassing question because some people aren't built with that, like I myself, it's hard to acknowledge feelings to yourself first and foremost, but
Yeah,
secondly to people that you care about, people that see you every day, that you haven't completely been yourself. So I don't know, it's like, and I'm learning this still now, it's so hard sometimes to just say things out loud, to just
okay.
address things out loud. I don't know what it is, why we have this like this silence filter. I mean, it's
Yeah,
obviously there for a reason, but
yeah. We want to say something, but it's like our brain.
how can we
Don't-
not trigger our mouth to say it? And why is it so scary?
yeah, it's so hard.
Right?
And
I
sometimes it's
wasn't built with
approach,
that
but just
gene,
yeah,
and a lot of people weren't. I think the best advice I can give you is if you're so terrified to do it, but it's important to you, do it in any way that looks like. So a lot of people that I know wrote letters to their parents. Maybe they couldn't even speak it out loud, but like
yeah,
sending it in the mail. And if you can write a letter and it feels so overwhelming to try and wrap your brain around starting the conversation, you can tell your family member, your parents, like, I have a letter to read to you and it's really hard for me to do this, but I need to do it. I think that's like the first step for
yeah, sure.
people who don't quite know how to address it.
Yeah, I think they have to start by saying maybe to a friend, because yeah, family is just a big step to tell to your
Yeah.
parents. So maybe try to say that to a friend, who's maybe online, on Twitter, you can make some friends online and just tell them.
Yeah. Any way that it looks like to you.
Yeah. So those fans dreaming to thank you in person. I know, for example, that in France, more than 1,000 of them have gathered in a group on Facebook to make a GleeCon happen. Will you be open to the idea to travel the world and meet the Gleeks, or is it something you too shy maybe to do?
I'd be down. I mean, once this pandemic's over, and if I can get to be, if I'm flown and I get to experience France or wherever, I'm down. I'm there. I am shy. I'm an introvert, so I always feel like this weird connection with fans because I'm like, I don't know you, but I also love you and I know you know me. So like we can hug and we can be friends. But I always feel like people expect more, and I'm like, what do I say? What do I do? You know, you never know if you're doing it right. So
Yeah,
it's always fun.
but whenever you come in France, in Belgium, maybe in London, I'll be there, and it's going to be the best party ever. And yeah, I would like to thank you so much for this lovely chat. Feeling very proud now and blessed for this moment.
Me
And
too.
it's all because of you and your trust in me. So yeah, thank
Of
you so much.
course. I've got to watch a couple of your interviews, and they're just lovely, and you
Yeah.
know, giving people a chance to get to know everybody.
So I'm going to send you the link once it's posted, but just so you know, I won't cut anything because I think it's more real like that, and I like it that way. It's not perfect, but who cares? So I will keep my English mistakes and everything, and not I'm just going to put a pretty background behind us, but that's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah.
So have a good day and
You too. It was
we
great
should talk.
chatting with you. Good luck in school.
Thank you.
May you stay as calm as possible.
Yeah.